the dog doing?
Hello and good evening. My name is Shadow. Welcome to What the Duck. We're going to be talking about the Mandela Effect. What do you remember? What is actually correct? Nobody knows. But let's get this thing started. 1 second here. All right.
Yay.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about stuff that you can't remember and you thought it was the other way around. That sounds
It's a
about
little thing called the Mandela Effect.
okay. So do we know where we get the Mandela Effect from?
So, I have heard that it started with the supposed death of Nelson Mandela.
That is correct. 10 points for the lady.
Yay!
It's so a lot of people remember him dying in prison. He was in prison. He was a political prisoner. They remember him dying in prison in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not. He's actually the president of whatever he is, president of in a country that's not here. And
It's not here.
that was the first day of the Mandela Effect, the first recognized mass hallucination that is the
Yes.
Mandela Effect. But
Correct.
there is a theory that is going around that the Hadron Collider, when it fired up in 2008, literally destroyed our Earth and slid us into an alternate reality or another universe.
Mhm.
And it was fired up in 2008. That's about the time all this stuff really started like firing up. But I mean, we'll
Mhm.
never know.
Obviously, we'll never actually know.
Yeah,
That is
because
very true.
we can trust our government.
I'm just kidding. I love you.
But it was fired up in 2008. I think it was like September that year.
Mhm.
Uh,
Actually,
yep, 10th of
yeah,
September
Collider.
2008. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So, thoughts, questions, bubbles. I forgot.
Well, just another historical example of that. Henry VIII. People remember his painting having him eating a turkey leg, which there was no such painting ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the other thing. They apparently Mona Lisa had more. A lot of people remember her having more of a distinct smile. I just remember
Yep.
the little. That's all I remember.
That's what I remember as well. So as far as I can remember, even first seeing the Mona Lisa back in, elementary school, it had just the ever so slightest smile on her face, and that was it. There's no big, shining smile from ear to ear, nothing like that. It's just the slight smile. That's what I remember as well.
The biggest thing with the Mandela effect isn't so much that, yeah, it's coined after Nelson Mandela, but
Mhm.
the biggest thing is that it's not just like one or two people. They're like, "Oh, I remember it this way," and people are like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
it's debating." You're talking literally thousands, if not tens, or even hundreds of thousands people, or hundreds of thousands of people, or millions of people having the same memory,
Exactly.
but nothing. It's like
And it's
a lot of them have the same.
mass,
Yeah.
a mass false memory that
Well,
people seem to remember a certain thing, but it ends up being different, supposedly.
but how did
And the irony is, they might not all be from the same area or even the same country.
that's
So
Exactly.
you can't even attribute it to localization of like current
Mhm.
weather or like
A
something
regional
happening.
thing? Yeah.
I was just going to say that very thing because in a small town let's say early 90s, people talked. Oh yeah, Bigfoot living up in the hills, whatever.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
when you talk about people that all across the world remember certain events,
Mhm.
the same as you do, yeah, it's more than a mass hallucinogen.
Mhm.
Another thing would be the location of the play into your, or not play into your thing. That's actually a wrong wording for it. But go on about like you're saying how like the super collider blew up the Earth and we were all in that alternate thing. You might also kind of explain the location in New Zealand, where most people remember it being the northwest island versus the southeast island.
Mhm.
Now wait a minute. What?
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that, including people that live in New Zealand, that remember it used to be a northeast island, and now somehow it's a or northwest island, but now it's a southeast island. So it's geographically in a different spot now.
Yo, what the fuck? Seriously, like, look at this.
No. What the duck?
What the? But that is not right. That you. I need to lay down. That is not right. You can't do stuff.
Yeah,
Hey,
it is.
That's
Yeah.
the thing about the Mandela effect. I mean, there's
Mhm.
people, and it's not just like a small amount, like a little bit of people that you could just play it off of them either just being batshit crazy or
Mhm.
something happened in that area where like one person started thinking that and then everybody started thinking it.
Mhm.
Now we're all pretty aged here. I mean, I'm not saying that we're all old, but
Speak for yourself. I'm kidding.
we all got a few levels under our belt here. We're gamers. We climbed some levels here.
Gain that
But
XP.
yeah, but you remember back in the day, right? When you were kids, remember the Oscar Mayer song? My baloney has a
My
first name.
baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. My baloney has a second name. It's MAYER. I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No. Say that again. That's wrong.
yeah, it's wrong.
Say that again, Jordan.
The whole thing?
Just spill it. Spell it out.
Yeah, just re-sing it again. How you remember it? Don't think about it. Just sing.
My baloney has a first name. It's OSCAR. My baloney has a second name. It's MAYER.
It's EYER.
Yep. It's never been spelled with an A.
Yeah.
It's never been spelled with an A.
Oh my
Somehow
goodness. Wow.
everybody. That's my point exactly. Somehow everybody remembers singing it with an A. It's always been Oscar Mayer or.
Oh my gosh.
So, let me blow your minds with one that I found, and since we're all video game people, and I know that every one of us here in this has played Skyrim, Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, we have.
Okay. So
Many
everybody,
time.
many people remember I used to be a adventurer until I took an arrow to the knee, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that never happened. It was arrow in
Crap.
arrows.
No.
Arrow in the knee.
No. It was to the knee. It was to the knee.
That's what I remember.
Oh my goodness. So my biggest one, or one of my biggest ones, and I know that there are many, many, many Star Wars fans out there, is the line that everybody quote. Luke, I am your father. Supposedly did not ever happen.
Yep, I can tell you what it was. I've got it pulled up here.
No, I am your father. I think is what it was correct. What it was actually, but you can make sure to double check.
Yep, it says no, I am your father is the correct line. It
Nope.
and the
Blows my mind. Mm-mm.
there's a lot of these. Does anybody remember uh, oh my God, A Risky Business with Tom Cruise. Early film.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember Risky Business.
Okay,
It has been years since I watched it, but yes.
he slides out in nothing but like a button up and some a whitey tighties holding like I think it's like a candlestick and he's singing, right?
Yeah.
I remember
Mhm.
him sliding out. He's got dark sunglasses on, button up dress, button up shirt with whitey tighties, socks, and singing. Well, apparently
Yeah.
he does not have sunglasses on.
Oh, speaking of sunglasses, anybody remember the old Raisin Bran cereal with the sun
That mother,
on
Yes.
the box?
yes,
Did it have sunglasses
it
on?
did. It did. I remember
It
eating
did.
it.
Supposedly, it does not. If you look it up, you're not very bound to find a picture of the sun with sunglasses on.
So I think there's one about the Flintstones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's Flint Stones with 2 T's instead of Flynn Stones.
I remember Flintstones without the extra T.
Yeah.
Another good one is the Monopoly guy.
Oh,
Who
yeah,
remembers the Monopoly guy having a monocle
I do.
on his eye? The
Like,
thing that
every-
covers his eye.
Everybody on the planet has to remember the dude with the monocle.
Well,
One of the biggest things that I was just telling Adam this the other day is you think of, well, I think of Ace Ventura when nature calls. He goes in and they're at this mansion having a party, and this guy comes waltzing in with his wife, date, whatever she is, and he looks like the Monopoly guy. And the scene plays out that, you must be the Monopoly guy. And what I remember is Ace pulling, I think it was a watch or something out of this guy's pocket and holding it up in front of his eye like the monocle. And I'm like, okay, so that's not just me thinking this. Everybody on the planet Earth probably remembers the Monopoly guy with a monocle. So now they're saying he doesn't have one, and that blows my mind.
well, what about Ed McMahon and the Publishers Clearinghouse? That's the biggest
Oh
one.
my goodness.
It's ridiculous because I remember watching those commercials at my grandmother's,
Mhm.
and it had Ed McMahon. I have bet you all the money in the world.
Mhm. I vividly remember Ed McMahon coming up, knocking on people's doors, and they'd open it up, and they'd be, all dressed up like they were prepared for him to arrive. And he would have like this camera crew around him, this giant check says Publishers Clearinghouse, and like somebody's holding a big thing of balloons, and just the whole ordeal. And it was Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yep.
Supposedly that never happened either. They say that he's with, or was with, oh gosh, what was it? Oh my goodness, I can't think of it right now. Anyways, another one that was kind of the same thing, but not Publishers Clearinghouse. So,
But
I don't know.
so
It's just crazy to me.
there's a couple movies that I'm watching, and some like Lucy. I love Lucy, right?
Mhm.
And everybody knows Ricky Ricardo. He would come in and he would catch her doing something, and he'd say, "Lucy, you have to explain to do."
Mm-hmm.
Well, he actually never said that. It was explain that if you can, Lucy.
Bull crap! Oh, much I love Lucy growing up. All the time.
And this is one
You
that
said you had some explaining to do.
this one's really messed me up. Do you guys remember Neil Armstrong?
Mm-hmm. Man that
Yeah.
landed on the moon.
Yes.
Walked on the moon.
So apparently he died in August of 2012.
I
I don't remember that.
I don't remember. That's interesting.
Wait, he's dead.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's
But wait a
creepy.
minute. I've seen TikTok videos and probably YouTube videos and stuff where people are going up and basically trying to ask him questions about landing on the moon, and he's throwing a fit over it. And all the other guys that landed on the moon do the same thing, and that's for another story. But that's been more recent. They're very, say this, bit older gentlemen, probably in their 70s, 80s, however old they are now, but not dead. Very well and walking around, actually
There-
running away from the publicity and all that stuff. So
August
I don't know.
25th, 2012. He died in Cincinnati, Ohio, apparently. I didn't know that.
Mm-mm. About that blows my mind.
Uh, You know,
Um,
it's always something like just everybody remembers it, right? So you got
Mhm.
like Pikachu's tail. I remember it having a black tip. Apparently, it does not have a black tip. It's just solid yellow.
I remember a black tip as well. I didn't get really into Pokemon, but I do remember Pikachu having a black tip on his tail or her tail,
Their tail. I don't know.
their tail, its tail.
I mean, that's the same thing with Sinbad's Shazam.
Oh God,
Um,
I'm
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Oh,
people
that's-
swear that Sinbad was had a movie called Shazam.
Mhm.
Hell, I remember it. Hell, I remember commercials for this movie.
thank you. I do
What's up?
too.
But somehow he never did it, and it doesn't exist, regardless of millions of people actually remembering it.
Mhm. Funny thing is, just recently, like within the past couple weeks, I saw a video popped up on, I think it was TikTok, and this guy goes into a safe in his house and he pulls out a copy of Sinbad's Shazam from the safe and was like, "Oh, look, here it's right here. You know, I've had it since the 90s, whenever it was filmed and stuff." And I'm sitting here going, "Is this doctored? I don't really know. Like, is this for real?" So everybody remembers that.
A lot of people think like the rise in popularity of the internet is the cause for the Mandela effect. You got
Hmm.
people, like a lot of like false information gets combined with actual information,
Hmm.
but it starts blending in to make it real information, because I mean, if you're gonna lie, I mean, every lie has a spark of truth in it regardless. I
Mhm.
mean, a total fabricated lie would never be believed without some truth into it.
Hmm.
But the thing is, a lot of people have had these beliefs in thinking that stuff happened way before the internet even exists. Oh, the internet today, as people can use it. I mean, the internet has been around a lot longer than people have had access to it. But
Yeah.
um,
Mm. Do
the
you
other
guys
thing is,
remember Curious George having a tail?
Yes.
I do too. Thank you.
I don't remember. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so the Berenstain Bears.
That one I don't
It's not-
remember.
I had a book from the Berenstain Bears. It was with an E, not an A. But now they're saying it was an A the whole time. That just blows my mind. Anyways, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to
You're
interrupt.
okay.
So
Um,
I am
It's just a
looking.
mess.
I am looking here, and there's actually a Mandela effect that concerns the amount of states that the United States have. I didn't know this one, but apparently people
That's funny.
think that it's 51 or 52.
well, if you
Huh.
count if you count Puerto Rico as a state, I don't know. It's really weird because the way Puerto Rico was, I think that might be more attributed to the way history was taught in school. Some people were taught that Puerto Rico is technically considered part of the United States, along with the U.S./Virgin Islands, as they like to call it. So it kind of incorporates Virgin Islands into the United States when it's actually not a state.
That's a U.S. territory, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I
There's just so many things that really can just blow your mind if you think about it. It's just
Well,
crazy.
so
I don't know.
let's talk about the opposite thing, right? Why would this happen? So
Mm-hmm.
why would we not notice a shift in reality?
Let's say the Hadron Collider did explode and send us into a different universe, a different, what do you want to call it? um, it's can it be proven? I don't know.
Well,
There's
what if uh the uh the glitchiness effect that people are experiencing, the whole we live in a simulation thing
mm-hmm.
is the result of that. Maybe it's still glitching in and out. I don't know.
Kind of like
Be.
glitches in the Matrix where stuff is trying to self-correct itself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's a good point. It's been a long time since I've seen The Matrix too, but I'd never thought of that. That's a really good point.
Here's one that even here's one I actually wanted to bring up. It even it's so prevalent in the Mandela Effect that not only did it stump the biggest Star Wars fans, actually Lucas Arts that makes like the people like when they outsource like all their costume making and stuff.
Mhm.
No one caught onto it that C3PO has a silver leg and he's not pure gold.
I heard that recently too. I thought he was pure gold.
It's so bad that it even stumped the hardest Star Wars fans, and even the people that make the costumes and stuff for like art, like the licensed people that do like the costumes and stuff for it, got it wrong too. Apparently, he's always had a silver leg, and everyone would think it was gold. To the fact that
my goodness.
They've been making costumes wrong for literal decades.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of leg problems, if you have any ailments, visit Pop Shop's medical service, located behind Walmart on 5th Street. Myself, I was an adventurer once. Then I took an arrow to the knee. Pop was able to get the arrow out and kinda patch me up. Now I'm able to lean on this wooden pole and ask travelers for golden coins and tell my story. Thanks, Pop. Back to our regular scheduled show.
Oh my goodness.
So
It's just crazy.
So that right there presents a good statement on that. It's not just, oh nope, you thought about it wrong, and so did you, and so did a million other people.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about stuff that's in movies, songs. I mean, everything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just like a Smooth Criminal. Remember that one? You've been struck by, apparently.
A smooth criminal.
That never happened.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about that. I don't know. I have heard that song so many times.
Yep.
And
I even watched the movie.
Remembered it saying Smooth Criminal.
Yep.
I don't know.
Let me see if I can find the actual effect for it.
It's crazy. There's so many different ones. We haven't even covered a fraction of them. There's so many memories that people think are completely different, and oh my goodness. There's another one that just popped up that I clearly remember. So Scooby-Doo, the show Scooby-Doo, the character Shaggy, back in the animated original version, Shaggy had an Adam's apple that would bounce up and down like when he swallowed or something along those lines when he was like, gulp. He doesn't have an Adam's apple now.
Wait, what?
I know. I just found that. Oh my gosh. Okay. I clearly remember that.
Well, I know this is gonna be a subject for another time, but like what Adam was saying with the whole simulation theory,
Mm-hmm.
researchers now, I mean, because obviously, Microsoft, not Microsoft, Microsoft, yeah, Microsoft gets more powerful. Yeah, that's a whole topic in itself.
Right.
Yeah. But no, there was like researchers. I have to find it again. I had a bookmark, but somehow I lost my bookmark. Whatever.
Mhm.
They've actually been able to zoom in far enough where they actually found error. They said that they found error correcting code, like computer code, in molecules.
What?
Wait,
That's insane.
Yeah,
I've
they
never
actually
heard that.
found
That is
computer- They
crazy.
actually found it. That's why I'm trying to find it right now.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, scientists have actually played around the theory using DNA for computer code. They actually have a scientist
Mhm.
that wrote "Hello World" in bacterial DNA.
Wow.
But yeah,
Hmm.
I was
That's
trying to
some
find it.
interesting stuff. This is crazy. Wow.
So yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying that like, oh, simulation theory is a thing. I mean, you could, if you try hard enough, you can tie anything to anything.
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
it's one plausible cause to the Mandela effect. The other
Mhm.
thing is like Adam said, there was the super collider turning on, and us getting pulled into an alternate reality, alternate universe, because our universe went
Mhm.
kaboomy.
Yeah.
That could be another topic for another thing, especially like when they started playing around with the super collider, and people
Mhm.
were starting to see like weird like portal things opening over the
Mhm.
site that it's at and all that stuff. So
Yep.
there's many different things. A lot of people believe that the rise of the internet, and everyone being able to just have everything, is causing a lot of information, like people that are just doing art being crossed with actual things. And
Mhm.
it's not that people are lying, it's just that this information has gotten so distorted that people just take whatever it is now is how it was when it wasn't.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's a lot of reach to be looking in the same spot as millions of other people. Now, like, I don't know. I feel like I remember, and I also have a lot of deja vu. Also, that like I've been
Do too.
here, been
Mhm.
there, certain places, but
Mhm.
I don't know. You know, Stephen Hawking was it Stephen Hawkins said that
Mhm.
when they turn on the collider and they discover the God particle that our world was going to end.
Mhm.
Maybe it did. Maybe it did.
Maybe it did it so fast that nobody realized it.
Yeah, but an explosion of that magnitude, right? You
Mhm.
wouldn't even. You would be here 1 minute and gone the next. You wouldn't
Mhm.
notice anything.
Absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
Well, just to give you an example, it takes your brain something like fifth of a second to recognize to realize that you're dead.
Mhm.
So anything that happens,
Wow.
if anything that happened, that's why people that get shot and killed don't realize they died.
Wow. I never knew that.
Because
That's
it
crazy.
takes longer for your brain to realize it's dead before. So anything that happened under a fifth of a second,
Mhm.
your brain doesn't register the fact.
Hmm. Now I'm wondering how
That's why.
quickly.
That's why pain, like if you burn your hand or if you stab yourself, you don't really notice it until you actually look at it. Your
Uh-huh.
body like brings it to your thing, like, hey, I did something dumb here. Like I chopped my hand off.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Which
I'm
is also
wondering,
why they
like,
have saws now that can, if it detect like a flick, they have saws now that are so accurate in that, so
uh-huh.
people don't do things like that. That if you brush like skin right up against it, it will actually turn off so fast it'll never break the skin.
Wow. I didn't know
That's
that.
how fast
That's
the
so
kill switch is
cool.
on those things.
Dang. May have to invest in one of those if I get back into woodworking. Anyways,
So there was
so I'm wondering when. Go ahead, Adam.
well, I'm about to go down a whole other rabbit hole. So
Well, mine was back to the CERN, the Hadron Collider. I'm wondering if something like if this explosion actually did happen. How fast did it happen?
don't know. Continue.
Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead. That was just my one thought. So.
Well, remember the Big Bang theory happened within less than a fraction of a second.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the effects radiated out through the universe,
Mm-hmm.
but it expanded at a rate of 41.4 miles per second.
Wow. That's insane. Mm-mm-mm. Absolutely insane.
But the thing is, the Big Bang wasn't a bang at all. It didn't explode. Like people think like this. It was like this. They think that the Big Bang theory is like, I mean, outside the show, but that's a whole thing itself.
I love the Big Bang Theory, by the way. It's such a good show.
They think the Big Bang theory is like this big explode, like the world, like the universe exploded, and then all of a sudden there were stars and galaxies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just a vast expansion of extremely condensed material. All it did was just spread out over the course of billions of years.
Okay.
It's like a fart in a car. It starts in the seat and moves its way on out.
Oh my goodness. That's why they tell us our batteries don't explode, they rapidly expand.
Exactly.
It's just spread across everywhere and, hope you don't get fried along the way.
So one of the kids said, so Stephen Hawking said that physics would be more interesting if Higgs boson hadn't been found. Physics would have been far more interesting if scientists had been unable to find the Higgs boson at the Large Hadron Collider in CERN, according to Stephen Hawking. But there was a kid. He was like supposed to be like the next prodigy, like next Einstein, right? And he came out and said it opened a portal, and then we died, and we just slid into another reality.
You're talking about Mr. Max Laughlin.
Yes, I am.
Yep. I think he was, 16 when he first came about, and this was back in, well, he disappeared in 2018, so it was prior to 2018 when he came out and was talking about just the Hadron Collider, and this kid was a genius. Yeah. They just disappeared, fell off the face of the earth. So, where did he go?
I'm actually all for this. That'd be cool. Alternate reality. We had a bit, they turned on the Hadron Collider. We blew up. We're in the alternate universe. We at least did one where Biden wasn't president. No, I'm just kidding. But
what the dog doing?
Goodness. What the dog doing?
Well,
no, he was 14. My apologies. He was 14, but a genius.
My thing is though is why did we get sent to the reality where, like, the Monopoly guy lost his glass? Why couldn't we send where we could, like, fly or some shit?
Right.
So
absolutely.
A lot of that comes down to another theory where anytime that you make a decision, the whole alternate reality thing is that anytime you make a decision whether to go left, right, do I marry this person, do I divorce this person, do I eat nachos today, whatever. That all other probabilities are also explored.
Yep.
Mhm.
So in another universe, you ate nachos. At one universe, you didn't eat nachos. In another universe, you had quesadillas, whatever.
Isn't that like the butterfly effect or something?
Exactly. It's the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
So the chances are that in their theory that these universes run basically on different frequencies, almost kind of like your either car radio or different light waves, where if you kind of shifted a light slightly this way,
Yeah.
I'd have to look it back up, that you would be technically out of phase with our reality into another reality, and so on and so forth.
It's the idea that small things can have nonlinear impacts on a complex system.
Exactly.
It basically sums it up. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so if that's the case, that would blow the string theory completely out of the water, because string theory states that there's only 12 other universes based on dark matter, antimatter, and crap like that. So if it is based on multiple choices, how many choices do you make in a day, right? So multiply that by,
Millions.
7.5 billion people. That is a lot of universes.
How can those 7.5 billion people have, well, if we're going back to the Mandela effect, those 7.5 billion people have a memory that they remember, and then all of a sudden it's just different?
It's not that though. It's some part of the population, and then the other parts remember something completely different. So did we slide into other people's body? Did we just slide in? Were we even in this universe before?
That goes down a completely different rabbit hole within its.
I mean, we're talking about a whole lot of stuff right now, and Mandela Effect is just the beginning to all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, you have people that are saying the more people like quantum mechanics and quantum computing and things like that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Where physicists, literally the smartest people on the planet, are saying, well, if you take away like time, where they're trying to say, well, they did a theory, well, what if time didn't exist? Well, if time doesn't, because you know how we measure time, like, speed of light, things like that. Well, they took time, because time is something more man-made, created. That's more of like how we depict something from beginning to middle to end, because that's the way our brains work. So like we perceive time as like the start of the show, when we went live and started talking to all you fine folks out there in internet.
Oh, you beautiful people.
Yes. To the time where we end the show, we consider this a point in time, and these are the things that happen within that time frame. That's how our brains actually compartmentalize things, and that's how memory is stored. Well, time might not actually exist, but if you take time out of the equation, like a lot of things from like Einstein and like theory of relativity and other things actually start making more sense and are actually a lot more plausible, and the science behind it makes sense.
That makes me think of Star Trek. How they basically just go out, they don't care about time, they don't care about money. It's just they go explore.
They were military. They were military based, whether people like to admit that or not. You don't make massive warships and flagships if you're not military. So they were
Absolutely,
but they were time based.
Armada.
Yeah, right. So, but that they were time based, right? But so it goes back to the relativity theory, right? So the closer that you travel to the speed of light, the slower time slows down for you.
Yes.
It's really weird. And with Einstein and Rosenberg, the bridge, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, it's all relative, as that dude would say.
Anything's possible if you just believe.
God.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that will really blow your mind if you sit down and delve
Like,
into the subject.
people,
Mhm.
I know it sounds, and guys, I know it sounds like we've went off the rails and we're just talking about completely different things.
No.
The thing is, it's not one thing as a sum of everything. Like the
Mhm.
Mandela effect is just part of people having false memories, or people
Mhm.
or not saying people have false memories. People say it has false memories. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, we can't take the Mandela effect as something that is completely true. This is how it is. This is what it is. It's possible that with the advent of internet and everything, that people just really do just see this stuff so much and everything gets so misconstrued that people are just misremembering true things with false things. And
Mhm.
the mind is the easiest thing to trick. The
Mhm.
closer that you're in on something, the easier it is to get fooled by something. That's
Yes.
why that's why they always say stand back and look at stuff objectively.
Mhm.
However,
Look at the big picture. Mhm.
if you take all these different things that we've been talking about and put them together, it starts making other things make a lot more sense. Like you
Mhm.
can, like scientists is about scientists. Okay, yeah, it's no amount of science is gonna be able to fix my inability to talk sometimes. But anyways, that's why scientists, yeah, they might not be able to. One theory, like, oh well, we can't go faster than the speed of light
Mhm.
because the laws of physics prevent that. But if you take into account this and do XYZ, like NASA has proved, let's see, NASA warp bubble. Granted, it was microscopic, but NASA has actually implemented their first warp bubble where they can actually go faster than the speed of light.
Oh
Well,
wow.
technically, quote unquote, nothing is able to go classer. See, like I said, no amount of science can fix my talking.
Still
Yeah,
love you though. It's okay.
it was a DARPA funded research experiment that they accidentally figured out how to travel faster than the speed of light.
Wow. It's amazing the technology that's out nowadays.
Careful.
Whether you know it or not.
That is another wormhole that we're about to go down. We
Oh,
follow that one.
absolutely.
But the whole thing is
Absolutely.
you can take bits of everything and apply it to the Mandela effect. You can apply
Mhm.
it to simulation theory, like
Mhm.
how clouds can glitch, or you can experience deja vu, like where you feel like you've done it in completely whole day or a sequence of in a day. And the thing is, you'll actually
Mhm.
remember how you did it too, which is kind of funny.
Mhm.
But or how millions of people can remember the Monopoly dude having a monocle and a cane, which
Mhm.
doesn't have a monocle for
Mhm.
whatever reason, or how in the movie Casablanca, or I'd have to look that one back up, but in the movie Casablanca, people remember sections of the movie and statements that were
Mhm.
said in the movie that don't exist,
Mhm.
or that Bernstein Bears into the Bernstein Bears, or
Yep. Or Shaggy
uh,
not having an Adam's apple.
yeah,
It just blows my
Shaggy not
mind.
having you can't you can explain some of this, or Pikachu's tail.
Mhm.
You can explain some of it. Like we could probably explain away like Pikachu's tail to artist interpretation over the years, especially when they start remastering like older stuff to be more modern so
Mhm.
people can watch it better on modern like TVs and things like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
some of the art stuff I can kind of see where some creative licensing might have altered the image over the course of a few years.
Mhm.
But like with Pikachu and stuff, because I've seen it with tail. I can even find images where he's had black on tails and not black on tails. But like I said,
Mhm.
that's up to artist interpretation. So I could probably almost give that one to the internet being weird. But you have entire people that literally like remember, and we're not talking that people would even have used the internet. Like old people that are in their like their 80s that remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like, these people wouldn't have had internet.
influence.
These people would not have had access to internet at the time to be able to have their ideas like be misconstrued by false information. So you can't exactly take everything as well. It's the internet. Some things, yes, 100%. Guaranteed. I'm sure there's some that can be explained away due to this is just how it got done, like, or over time got whatever. The Mona Lisa one, I've never seen I've seen images of the Mona Lisa, but I've never been really that interested into it. So I've never really looked at the Mona Lisa that much. So I couldn't tell you if her smile was more pronounced or not, because I honestly have no frame of reference to like build that image on. I'll just be like, to me, like I saw both of the images and not gonna lie, it both looked the same to me. Like seriously, it looked the same to me. And I'm not discontinuing the Mandela. I mean, hold on. I'm just trying to look up something really fast, and trying to talk and type doesn't really actually work sometimes. But so I don't know. That's here or there, or like Mirror, Mirror on the Wall from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was actually Magic Mirror on the Wall.
I remember Mirror, Mirror.
I remember it. You remember it, and there's probably about a few 100 million Disney fans that probably remember it that way too.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for today on the Mandela Effect, Part 1. Join us on the next episode, Part 2, where we finish up talking about all the crazy effects that we experience. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow and like and subscribe. Leave feedback if you'd like. Have a wonderful day.
Shut up and sit down.